Race to the Edge started in 2015 and reopened the world of How to Train Your Dragon. It was an incredible first season that really stepped up from its predecessors being Defenders of Berk and Riders of Berk. The show has been running for 4 years and has now finally reached its last season. This is a bittersweet thing for a lot of people, and there's no doubt that this is the end of an era in the How to Train Your Dragon universe. Today we're going to talk about the 6 seasons, and I'm going to give some of my thoughts on how I thought this last season played out. I'm mostly going to be focusing on the ending, because the ending is the most important part of the story, and the ending of Race to the Edge was a rather intense one, so it definitely deserves a discussion. If we just look at the overall elements of Race to the Edge, it's everything that a How to Train Your Dragon fan could ask for. We have all the original characters and some new ones. We have action, we have dragons, we have love, we have war, we have everything in this show. We have all these different elements that makes the show great. However, in my opinion, the show has been running into a few problems throughout its last few seasons, particularly this one and the previous one. Most of the episodes deals with a common issue. I dare say 80% of these episodes involve the dragon hunters coming, either attacking or capturing some of our heroes, then to retreat again. And if someone did get captured, the rest of the gang quickly comes to save them. While it can be interesting to see how many different scenarios the writers can script, dragon hunters coming and attacking and then leaving again, it does not make it good writing. The main issue with this show and this season in particular has been that the show lacks risk. You're always certain that the characters are gonna come out fine, because we've seen it time and again. They get captured, they get attacked, they come out alive. There's no risk to this show, and while we love these characters and want everything to go well for them, it takes away a lot of the excitement. The best example I can come with is in season 5, where Heather and Windshear is under attack and Windshear falls into the ocean while being inside of a cage. There was a potential risk that Windshear was going to drown here. And Heather's life was in danger as well. And this is something that's really exciting, because Heather and Windshear are actually the characters that doesn't appear in the second movie, which put them at a potential risk of dying. However, both characters pulled through, and I'm actually fine with that. The episode in itself was great, because it showed us a risk that we haven't seen before. However, throughout season 6, this risk has been completely gone. If I forgot to mention, let me just say, spoiler warning, there's gonna be some major spoilers in that, so if you don't wanna hear those, you better leave right now. So season 6 revolves around Johann's betrayal and his quest to find the King of Dragons. All of a sudden, Johann, the innocent, clumsy traitor, is the main antagonist of the show, something I am not fond of, and no matter what happens, I will never condone that. Johann was one of my absolute favorite characters. Well, supporting characters at least, because he was funny, he was clumsy, he told these annoying tales, and you couldn't help but hate him but love him at the same time, because he was annoying, but still he had a likability to him. He was a beloved character by the people of Berk, as well as other islands around, so for him to turn a villain is really more upsetting than it is shocking to me. I find it highly unnecessary, since Krogan could easily have carried the mantle of villain in this last season. You didn't really have to add another one. And it actually comes to show that we have too many villains around, and Johann and Krogan decide to dispose of Viggo, who has a change of heart and actually becomes an ally to Hiccup momentarily before he's supposedly dead. I still don't believe he's dead. We didn't see a death scene. If I don't see them die, they're not dead. I refuse to believe he's dead! So they cut Viggo out of the picture in a very sloppy way. He doesn't even get to die probably. He's shot by arrows. He helps Hiccup, redeems himself a little bit, but then we don't get to see any more of him. I would have loved it for him to redeem himself, because he always had that potential in him, but then at least show us more with him, because in my opinion Viggo was the best villain that this series has ever seen. So for him to just disappear so unglorified is really a shame in my opinion. We get introduced to the Dromelion, which is the new dragon of this season. I don't mind the fact that there's only one new dragon. There's so much other stuff going on that it's pretty cool, and this dragon is incredibly powerful. The Dromelion is perfect at adaptation. It can shoot a bunch of different fireballs, ranging from lava to lightning. It can mimic behavior from other dragons in order to survive. Now that's a pretty clever dragon if you ask me. So I definitely enjoyed seeing this dragon in action, because it's really interesting and new. Eventually we reach the end, and the 2 last episodes is definitely where the action is packed, and in some cases it's a bit rushed. If they had stretched that out over more episodes and cut out some of the less important episodes, I think we could have had a way better season than we actually had. But nonetheless, the 2 last episodes is definitely the most exciting. The King of Dragons is revealed to be a Titan Dromelion, and Hiccup and the gang of course goes to pursue this dragon, but the Dragon Hunters does as well. This dragon gets gravely injured and the battle is actually pretty gruesome for this poor fella. In the end, the Dragon Hunters successfully capture this dragon, but then abandon it in the middle of the ocean. This raises the question, is this truly the King of Dragons? And it turns out it's not. The Dromelion has a unique fire that can show the location of the King of Dragons by lighting it through the Dragon Eye. The location of the King of Dragons is revealed to be on Berserker Island, which is Dagger's home. The Bewilderbeast is finally revealed to us, and it's actually quite rushed in my opinion. We just see the dragon, immensely and impressive as it is, but I would have liked a bit of a bigger reveal, making it more glorified. However, Johan and Krogan are the first to lay eyes on this dragon, and they intend to capture it. Of course that doesn't happen because the Bewilderbeast is an immensely powerful dragon. The Bewilderbeast has an incredible texture and resolution, which leads me to think that it potentially is the actual 3D model that was used in How to Train Your Dragon 2. Hiccup goes into the cave as well, and this was always my greatest fear, that the show would actually reveal the Bewilderbeast to Hiccup before the second movie, because that would be a huge plot hole that would not be adding up anywhere. In How to Train Your Dragon 2, Hiccup sees the Bewilderbeast for the first time.
Every nest has its queen, but this is the king of all dragons. With his icy breath, this graceful giant built our nest. A safe haven for dragons everywhere.
So the show manages to pull off Hiccup walking around inside the cave but never seeing the beast.
Wait, that's the Ice Spitter? He's responsible for all that destruction?
He protects us.
However, he does find an egg. A Bewilderbeast egg that is incredibly small compared to the size of the dragon.
The King of Dragons has laid an egg?
Hiccup does everything he can to protect the egg, but Johan and Krogan is obviously interested in it. But so is the Bewilderbeast. And the King of Dragons, which actually is the Queen of Dragons I suppose, comes in the last minute to save Hiccup from Johan. However, it doesn't make much sense that an ice blast of these proportions shouldn't damage Hiccup the slightest, but completely freeze Johan solid. Also, I find the character break that Hiccup would simply leave the cave without checking up on the King of Dragons. Fishlegs says the dragon is safe, but no one really knows if it actually is safe because no one checked up on it. The battle sequence during this last episode is incredible. There's some incredible shots there. The animation of this show is impeccable. Garp shows up again and a lot of the other dragons as well. The Bewilderbeast puts out a distress call and attracts a lot of the dragons. This scene in itself is gorgeous and incredible and amazing. Although the Eruption arrives. The Screaming Death arrives. Every dragon we've pretty much ever seen arrives. So you mean to tell me that the range of the Bewilderbeast roar goes all around the world and the dragons have insane speed and can arrive all at the same time? It kinda takes away a little bit of the grandeur. Even Tornado is there. I understand that they're trying to make an epic last scene, but it kinda ruins a little bit to me by putting so many dragons there. It's overkill and it's unrealistic. Also, the synth tales that the Dragon Hunters write are unaffected by this distress call of the King of Dragons. Supposedly the Bewilderbeast is able to control all the other dragons, right? So why aren't the synth tale affected? Why can the Dragon Hunters still ride around on them? That's a bit of a plot hole once again. This scene is absolutely gorgeous. Winchie and Heather are incredible together. So with the help of Toothless, Hiccup escapes alive from the cave, and he is bringing the Bewilderbeast egg. Why on earth would Hiccup be bringing the Bewilderbeast egg out? If the King of Dragons, Queen of Dragons, is safe, why would he take its egg? If it's still present inside the cave, why would he take it? Johan is gone, Krogan is soon to be gone. Both Hiccup and Fishlegs, which are present, are some of the most knowledgeable people when it comes to dragon lore. Why would they take an egg away from its mother? I consider it a huge character break. Drago Bloodwist makes an appearance in this last season, which is really cool to see, and it's nice to get an ending to Krogan as well. However, Drago acts like a complete moron. Krogan is literally reporting a location of a Bewilderbeast to him, and yet he says,
I'll find another king of dragons myself.
Are you a moron, Drago? You know, king of dragons don't grow on trees, right? Why not just go find the one you know where is instead of searching the entire archipelago for a new one? Furthermore, the egg gets placed somewhere on a hill by the Wing Maidens because they knew someone who knew someone, and then Volker shows up. Why in Helheim would Volker have a Bewilderbeast egg? This is the biggest issue with this ending. Why on earth would she have an egg? Are they trying to tell us that this egg hatches into being the Bewilderbeast we see in the film? So you mean to tell me that the Bewilderbeast, an ancient alpha dragon, ancient, grows from hatchling to adult in a matter of 1 year? That's what you're trying to sell me? Race to the Edge Riders? Because I'm not buying it. So the other theory goes that the Bewilderbeast on Berserker Island is actually Volkas, because they look kind of similar and they simply moved to a new location after the attack on Berserker Island, and that's how Vulcan meets it. However, it doesn't explain the egg. Why is there an egg there? The only explanation for that egg is that Volker tried to take care of it and then it died. Because if he actually has an egg, and if it's hatched or not hatched, it will still be a very young Bewilderbeast in the second movie, and why would that not be present there? We don't see an egg. Volker leaves the sanctuary to go help defend Berg in the movie. There's no mention of an egg. It doesn't make any sense apart from the fact that they are trying to sell us it's her Bewilderbeast that's from that egg, and it hatches and becomes an adult dragon in 1 year. The ancient Bewilderbeast becomes an adult in 1 year! Do you have any idea of the life expectancy that dragon would be looking at? It'll be like 10 years. It'll be like dog years if it grows at an explosive rate. Even Toothless is gonna be older than that. They're trying to sell it, but I'm not buying it. I think that is completely rubbish. Shadowmaster makes an appearance, which is Dagger's first dragon. He's been gone for like 2 seasons, and now he just makes an appearance at Dagger's wedding. And he's like in the background. Overall, I would say this season was fine, but like I said, the quality has dropped fundamentally since the first season, in my opinion. If you enjoyed this last season and the ones before it, then good for you. I am really happy for you that you could enjoy it. The fact that the dragon's eyes are destroyed is something I do condone though. They are too dangerous, and I find it very iconic that they get destroyed this way, and it also explains why they are not in the second movie. It ends with Hiccup doing a voiceover, which is pretty nice because it's what we've seen Hiccup doing in the first and the second movie. I understand that a lot of people wanted to see the Bewilderbeast, but really I thought they should have included something else. Maybe a new dragon. Maybe just a different dragon. Maybe it should have been a Titan Dromillion that was the King of Dragons. It just takes a lot away from the second movie, in my opinion. The ending is not horrible, it just had some flaws. So I did enjoy this show, and it is a bit sad that it's coming to an end, but on the other hand, I'm glad it is. Because it's clear that they're running out of content, and it's kind of limited how much content you can squeeze out of dragon hunters attacking over and over again. So overall, I'm pleased with how this turned out. And now I would like to hear from you. I hope I didn't come across as too sour in this review, but there just was some issues I had to address. Feel free to address any issues you had with the season, or if you completely just loved it, feel free to prove me wrong on some of the things that I criticized. I would love to hear from you, so don't hesitate to leave a comment. Overall, it's a really cool show, and I definitely still recommend it to anyone who loves How to Train Your Dragon. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. So long, Dragon Riders!